Finally. So in the Road Ahead post, there wasn't much drop there for clones, just some teases and hints, but it was a final confirmation that we were finally getting the rework here. And in this post, Top Hat says, "You may be wondering, is this the end of our focus on the Clone Wars era? Far from it. After reworking the Geonotions, we asked ourselves what we could work on next, and how could it be the Clone Wars without taking a pass at the clone troopers themselves. We're going to be updating a select few of the clones as they prepare for future battles. We hope fans aren't too divided on the ones we selected. We've gone through something like 500 different iterations on which ones we could update. This pretty much confirms that the 501st Legion clone troopers that we have in the game are the ones that are going to be getting reworked. And of those, you have 3 of them. You have Rex, Echo, and Fives. Cody is part of the 212th, and his Clone Sergeant is just a generic character who's not with any kind of faction. He's not one battalion or another. He's just a generic clone trooper that we have within the faction. So that hints at Fives, Echo, and Rex getting the reworks. And this has obviously been causing some problems because we're getting a sort of deja vu here with HK-47 back in the day. If you guys may remember when HK-47 got his rework for the Sith Empire with the Darth Revan, they completely eliminated his leadership. It used to be that droids would gain 50% turn meter on scoring a critical hit. They took away the 50% and nerfed it down to 10%. They added some crit damage on as well, and they left the crit chance alone, but it pretty much destroyed the HK-47 lead as it stands. And this is something that a lot of people are worried about, and honestly, I can't blame them. This is something I'm personally worried about as well, because the Rex lead is something that has been a mainstay of so many teams since he was introduced into the game. And actually, recently on an episode of Galactic War Report, I believe it was John, aka the Uncanny Mr. H, dropped a little tidbit of information from the CG devs about how Rex has become a bit of a burden for them ever since that leadership came out into the game.
I actually talked to some folks at CG about this on Deep Background, if you will, and they were mad about it. Like, they couldn't figure out how to get rid of him without, like, hard nerfing him or something, which obviously they don't want to do. They're like, everything we do, he's so good at it, he just won't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And unintentionally, I'm sure, at some point, the game kind of passed him up. But, I mean, there's legitimately, from, like, when he came out to 6-8 months ago? Yeah, he was, at minimum, a good choice, if not the best choice.
And
So you can more or less infer that CG has been bothered by the Rex lead in the past, but it is a good argument brought up by John there that, he's actually kind of passed a little bit there. He's not that annoying lead that countered everything. So we can actually use that to hold on to some hope here that maybe that Rex lead won't get nerfed after all, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to put it past CG to rework this leadership and completely change it and the mechanics of how it works. Now, I really hope they don't do that, but I can at least hope that since he's not that leadership that was such an annoying counter for so many teams, and now that he's obsolete against teams like the Revans and Padme, that maybe they'll just go ahead and leave this leadership alone. So fingers crossed for that. Now, the other 2 clones that we have that need to be reworked. We have Fives and Echo. Fives, all I really want from him is just some sort of taunt mechanic that's not tied to Shock T or General Kenobi. It's kind of absurd that he is a tank. He's built to be an incredible tank. He has one of the highest defensive values in the game. He's just incredibly tanky as a character, and he has the great kit of a tank, except for the part where he doesn't have a taunt. And this is something that's been driving me nuts with him since I first really started using the clones way back when. He has counter chance. He has bonus turn meter gains when allies are damaged. He also can counter, and like I said, he can counter, and he can double tap with his basic and apply speed down. Yeah, this guy is built as a tank. He has a great tanking mechanic already built in with him. All he needs is just a taunt on his own. His leadership is next to useless. 65 defense for clone allies. Other allies gain half that amount. Get rid of that. He doesn't really need that. No one uses that clone leadership. So Throw something in with him, give him a new unique, or give him some kind of ability that gives him a taunt. Give him a pre-taunt. I could go for a pre-taunt on 5s. That would be a big deal, because then you're not having to use Shock T to give a forced taunt onto 5s right away, or use that General Kenobi lead, because we're using General Kenobi with other teams like Padme. So just give 5s a taunt, we'll call it good from there. That's really all I want for 5s. Nothing too crazy there. Echo is a little more interesting. His unique follow-up, it has room for a Zeta, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this as an Omega ability. Get rid of the damage penalty on assist, and maybe increase the chance to assist as well, up to 50%. That way he's guaranteed to assist on Clone Trooper attacks. That would be a pretty significant boost for Echo as well. He can actually deal some pretty good damage at gear 13. I've seen him crit for 20 to 25k on his assist. So if you can get rid of that damage penalty, that's going to be some seriously good damage on his assist. That can make him a very deadly character within this team. Now, his by-the-book unique is really repetitive against the Cody and Shock T leads. Honestly, it's nothing here that really stands out. So I could see them rework this and change how that works. And then his EMP grenade ability, honestly, at the end of the day, he doesn't move very fast. You stack him up with offense because he assists so often. So he doesn't move very often. His EMP grenade, you can get it off once in a match, and then you're never going to get it off again. Reduce his cooldown, or give him some kind of mechanic that allows him to reduce his own cooldowns so you can spam this more often. This is one of the few AoE dispels we have in the game right now, and he can hit really hard with it too, but he just never has a chance to use it. His basic, leave as is. I would be totally fine with leaving it as is, because the Terminator boost with it is great. He's going to be assisting a lot anyways with the rework on his unique, so he's going to hand out a lot of Terminator boost. I am perfectly fine with leaving his basic as is. With the taunt on 5s, the damage penalty removal from both Echo and Cody, and even boosting the assist chance on Echo, I think that is more than enough to really start giving them something here that can make them very deadly. And even buff out the damage on Sergeant as well. All that I'm totally okay with. So let's go ahead and let's talk about this Q&A, because there is some interesting information dropped about clones in there as well. And one of the questions that came up was, why only a select few of the clone troopers and not all of them? Remember back from the road ahead, they said they would only be working a select few, and they hoped it wouldn't be too divided with the fan base. Top Hat replies with a couple of reasons. We have plans for these clones in the future, and we have the age-old problem of limited time and resources. We couldn't do all of them, so we picked the ones that would be the most impactful in the short and long term. And how strong are you aiming to get the clone reworks when they come? That's a really difficult question to answer, because their power will change with time. You just have to wait and see. And then one final question here. Where is Delta Squad? And unfortunately, Delta Squad's not coming anytime soon. It's something that they've always thought about adding to the game, but just got edged out by other characters. So never too far from the minds of CG, but not going to be seeing Delta Squad anytime soon, which...
Hello darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, that's kind of depressing. That is not something I wanted to hear, because that's the clones I really want to see in this game, is Delta Squad. I would love to see those guys. I would love just having the Republic Commando guys in here. That would be fantastic. So hearing that they're not going to be seeing Delta Squad anytime soon got me bummed out, but at the same time, I'm getting reworks on Clone Troopers, so I can't be too sad about that news. So yeah, Clone Troopers. This pretty much hints that we're going to get the rework now, but we're going to see more with clones in the future, and the obvious answer for this is going to be Season 7 of the Clone Wars. That's coming out here within the next year. I believe they said very early on after Disney Plus launches. So we will probably see that sometime the end of this year, early next year. I can't remember when exactly they were planning on having it drop. But if you do remember, in the Season 7 teaser, there's some stuff with Ahsoka Tano, and you actually had some clone troopers who had custom armor made in her likeness, and honestly, that looks pretty cool, so I would love to see more of those guys. There's also Bad Batch within there, the Clone Unit 99, but yeah, the Bad Batch was also teased within Season 7, so when Season 7 drops, we're probably going to see more stuff with the Clone Troopers at that point, and that's probably what they're hinting at here, is obviously they need to promote Season 7 of the Clone Troopers, or the Clone Wars, because that's part of the contractual obligation with Disney owning it. EA's got to help promote that show. It's why we get all these characters with the new Star Wars movies and shows and everything, except Resistance. but that's part of it. So we will more than likely see something, maybe even a rework with Maul or something with Mandalorians. I would not be too shocked to hear that Clone Troopers are going to have something added on with them in Season 7 as well. That is the road ahead and the Q&A. We have one final thing to tackle here, and that's the data mine of the Clone Trooper pack. So over on Reddit, someone posted this, that they data mined 3 different bundles for some upcoming rework characters, and they are Fives, Echo, and Rex. So pretty much following with the hypothesis that the 501st characters are the ones getting reworked. So I double checked with Sig, who runs SWGOH the events, and he does a lot of data mine, and I asked him how legitimate does he think this is, and the short story of it is these look pretty legitimate. He saw this, it was a different format than what he's used to, but everything here seems legit, so more than likely we will be seeing these packs in the future very, very soon, because you know, we're going to be getting the reworks. And I mean, we had the login character as Cody this month anyways, as Cubs fan Han reacted to. And yeah, I think at this point, it's safe to say these are going to be our 3 Clone Troopers getting reworked. And I can't say it enough that I'm not excited about that Rex rework at all. I'm terrified to lose that leadership. That one I think is going to go down pretty badly. It's going to go down a lot worse than the HK one. I mean, people use the HK team, but the leadership with Rex is something that everybody has used since day one, and this is one that I implore CG, do not nerf it. I know they've been annoyed by it, they really hate it, but this is one I really, really do not want them to get rid of, and they probably will, and I'm going to be very upset with it, as are a lot of people out there, and honestly, we're just going to have to see what we can do with that leadership after it gets nerfed, if it's even going to be viable. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. Just kind of recapping the past week or two with Clone Troopers. Getting super excited. I was hoping to have the high ground on tonight. Unfortunately, we're having some scheduling and technical difficulties, so we're not able to get them on tonight, but I'm planning on having them on later this week, so we can just sit here and do a little schoolgirl scream and just geek out about clones for a good while for everybody's entertainment. So let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think? How terrified are you of the Rex rework? Because, let's be honest, everybody's terrified of that rework. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how scared are you of that rework? Let me know down in the comments, guys. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys are excited as I am for these Clone Trooper reworks. I will talk to you guys later.